Now, before you even grab a shovel and start digging the whole back garden up, I recommend that you go put the kettle on, make yourself a cup of tea or coffee, grab a notepad, like this, and it's worth probably, because we're gonna draw out the space, grab a measuring tape to get an indication of the size that you're working with. Not essential, but it can help. The first most important thing to do is spend time in your yard and to get an idea of what happens in the space throughout the period of the day, from the time that the sun comes up till the sun sets. Now it's worth getting your phone out, grab the compass and figure out which way north is. In my case, I've got a north facing back garden. The north is pretty much predominantly behind me. I've got the sun that rises over here in the east early in the morning and will set over this way to the west in the evening. When you're drawing up your little plan, it's worth taking notes of the shadow that may be cast by things such as trees and buildings that you've got either side. Now, if you don't have a back garden like mine that has plenty of sunlight, you might want to do things to increase the light levels within that yard. You can do things like using mirrors to try and bounce some of that light back into the space. Or you could potentially paint the fences like this white or a light color that will also bounce the light back into the yard. The next key element, not only do plants require sun, but they also require water. So it's really important to understand how you are going to water your veggie patch. Now, I personally like to hand water most of my garden because I get a lot of pleasure out of it. And also it means that I'm spending time in the yard. So therefore I'm taking the time out to actually see what's going on. You could install an irrigation system, automated system. So is there a tap nearby? If not, can I install a water tank? How am I going to water that veggie garden? Is it close to the kitchen? I'm a big believer of having the veggie garden top of mind. It's not always the prettiest looking garden, a veggie garden, but if it's there in front of you, you will use it and you'll tend to it. If it's hidden out the back of the yard, it tends to get neglected, you forget about it, okay? It is much better if you can to work with the soil that you've got. It's more environmentally friendly, it's going to cost you less. Always try and use the soil that you've got to begin with. How big do you want to go? How efficient will it be? The bigger you go, it's going to mean more work, okay? Can you condense it into a smaller space? It's like anything in life. You can get a lot out of your veggie garden, but it will require you to put in the work. So I'm always about return on investment, choosing the right plants and setting it up in a manner that requires the least amount of work possible to get the most out of it. What permaculture tries to teach, it is common sense. You want to make the most out of the space that you've got. So the other thing is working out a budget. How much is it going to cost? But essentially you don't need to spend a lot of money to grow food. The budget is just according to how much you want to spend. That it's okay not to get it right the first time as well. The garden is constantly evolving. No 2 days are ever the same in it. Instill your personality into the garden, it's yours. So here's an opportunity to have creative license, to create a space that represents who you are as a person. Because food, whatever it is that you're growing, is part of your personality. What you like, what you don't like. Your garden, your veggie patch will reflect that. Okay, next lesson is actually on the fun stuff. Now that we've spent some time, we've figured out where we want to put our veggie patch, it's about actually digging it up. So I'll teach you how to do that.